Hey, you know what you need to do? Stop doing things for God. I'm going to tell you why here today on 5-Minute Mentoring. Well, hey, my friend, it's Matt Tommy. So glad that you're here with me on 5-Minute Mentoring. Listen, I know that may sound crazy. Stop doing things for God. What are you talking about? But listen, have you ever had anybody do something for you that they thought was just so awesome, but in reality, you're like, that's not really that big of a blessing? Or I know you felt great about that, but that was totally like it actually put a roadblock in between our relationship, or it made things a little more difficult in the whole scheme of things. Listen, I've had that happen so many times. I've done that so many times, thinking that I was going to be a blessing when in reality, I just became kind of a roadblock. And you know, when I think about how most of us have been programmed in our life to work religiously and work for God and do things for the kingdom, and you know, we have this obligation, oh, he saved me, and so I got to work for him. That mentality, while it seems really spiritual and it seems really, faithful and that sort of thing, actually can be one of the biggest hindrances in your spiritual life, because God never asked us to do anything for him. He actually invites us to relationship. In fact, Jesus talks about that in John 5:19. He says, listen, I tell you the truth, the Son of Man cannot do anything by himself. He does only what he sees the Father doing. And whatever the Father does, the Son does also. And so there's this idea that, hey, I'm not asking you to go out there and conquer the world for me. I'm not asking you to go out and start a crusade and do this and do that. I'm asking you to walk with me every day, just like it talks about in 1 Corinthians, that we are co-laborers with Christ. What does that mean? That means that we get up every day and we walk with him on this journey, and we pay attention to the things that are on his heart. We pay attention to the way that he's wired us. We pay attention to the things that make our heart beat, that make us concerned, that make us stand up and take notice in the context of our relationship with him. I remember years ago, a spiritual father in my life shared a quote from Arthur Wallace that said, if you would do the best with your life, find out what God is doing in your generation and fling yourself into it. And I've really tried to live by that my whole life, even to this day, and hopefully for the rest of my life, that I don't want to be the person out there that's trying to create the momentum. I don't want to be the person that is the movement maker. I don't want to be the influencer. I want to be the person who is waking up every day in a place of rest and say, Jesus, in the context of how you've wired me, in the context of how you've designed me and called me and assigned me here in the earth, how can I align myself with you and what's on your heart so that my efforts can really be in agreement with your efforts, that my heart can be in agreement with your heart? Because how many of you know what you can do with God is so much further beyond what you can ever do for God? You know, when we operate out of that place of religious obligation, more the times than not, it ends up in striving, it ends up in frustration, it ends up in a lot of pressure, making us feel like if I don't perform in this certain way, if I don't do this for God, then he's going to be disappointed in me. Even if we don't verbalize it, that's sort of the push, if you will, the motivating factor behind things. And I just find in my life that the more I realize that, hey, I'm a son and not a slave. I've been designed to walk with Jesus every day through the power of the Holy Spirit, pay attention to the things that he's leading me in and respond to those, to listen to the dreams that he's put inside my heart, and then listen and watch for the leadership of the Holy Spirit every day to be faithful to the thing he's called me to. Listen, there'll be much more acceleration, much more momentum, much more grace in your life to do the things that God has designed you to do. Listen, don't try to do this thing called the kingdom by yourself. It will never, ever work. And quit trying to get kingdom results outside of a spirit-led relationship with Jesus. I promise you, when you do it the way that I'm telling you, life becomes a whole lot more fun, a whole lot more fulfilling, and a whole lot easier. All right? I love you, my friend. I hope this is a blessing to you. Ask the Lord today, Lord, where am I working in a place of obligation versus working in a place of collaboration and co-laboring with you? Let him readjust you. and let your life begin to change today. All right. I'll talk to you again, my friend. Thanks again for being here. And remember, until next time, you were created to thrive. Bye.